Welcome back to our third segment. This is where we dive deep into the political pool, breaking down the 2024 presidential race.
That's right, Kimberly. We've randomized the candidates prior to the episode this week, and we're going to be discussing Nikki Haley, taking a deep dive into her life, her political career. She is the former governor of South Carolina and the former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Nikki Haley was born in 1972 in Bamberg, South Carolina. From an early age, she learned from her Indian American parents about the blessings of living in America and the importance of celebrating similarities rather than differences.
A real outsider, yet Haley embarked on a political career that would make her a prominent figure in American politics. In 2004, she won a seat in the South Carolina State House against a 30-year incumbent. And what's impressive is her record during her tenure. She challenged the established order, pushing for tax cuts and legislative transparency. Despite significant opposition, including attempts to sideline her career, she persevered and in 2010 was elected governor of South Carolina.
Absolutely, and she wasn't just any governor. She became the youngest sitting governor in the United States and the country's first female governor of Indian descent. Her tenure was marked by economic growth, reforms, and unity during times of crisis.
Known as the Beast of the Southeast, South Carolina saw significant economic advancements under her administration. The unemployment rate reached a 15-year low, with over $20 billion in new capital investment announced.
And let's not forget her focus on accountability. She passed laws to ensure politicians' votes were on record and created an ethics commission to investigate misconduct. This transparency led to a massive shift in South Carolina politics.
Yes, and she was an ardent pro-life advocate, signing important pieces of legislation like the Born Alive Infant Protection Act and the Pain-Capable Unborn Child Protection Act.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Haley's aggressive stance on illegal immigration, requiring law enforcement to check people's immigration status, faced substantial opposition and legal battles.
Haley's educational policies deserve a mention, too. She signed a bill to expand charter schools, scraped the federal government's Common Core standards, and focused on improving education for the state's poorest students.
Plus, she was a vocal defender of the Second Amendment and worked to protect veterans, easing their transition into civilian life, helping them find employment. A personal mission given by her husband, Michael, who is a combat veteran.
Haley's leadership was truly tested during times of crisis, such as the Mother Emanuel Church shooting in Charleston, Hurricane Matthew, and others. But she rose to the occasion each time, offering leadership, compassion, and unity.
Post-governorship, she served as the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations under President Trump, where she continued to make her mark.
Indeed, Haley was instrumental in pushing through major reforms at the UN, defending Israel, getting tough on countries like China and Russia, and advocating for human rights.
Her actions during her time as UN ambassador even led Time magazine to name her one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2016, a testament to her significant impact on global politics.
Now, Nikki Haley has her sights on the presidency, vying for the 2024 Republican nomination. This new journey, in a way, is a culmination of her political career, and it will be interesting to see how her campaign unfolds.
Absolutely, Kimberly. Nikki Haley's story is a reminder that individuals can rise above their circumstances, being the only Indian American family in a small town, to make an impact in the world of politics. Her presidential bid will be one to watch closely. So let's take a look at her official video from her campaign website, NikkiHaley.com.
The railroad tracks divided the town by race. I was the proud daughter of Indian immigrants. Not black, not white. I was different. But my mom would always say, your job is not to focus on the differences, but the similarities. And my parents reminded me and my siblings every day how blessed we were to live in America. Some look at our past as evidence that America's founding principles are bad. They say the promise of freedom is just made up.
Some think our ideas are not just wrong, but racist and evil. Nothing could be further from the truth. I have seen evil. In China, they commit genocide. In Iran, they murder their own people for challenging the government. And when a woman tells you about watching soldiers throw her baby into a fire, it puts things in perspective. Even on our worst day, we are blessed to live in America. I was born and raised in South Carolina, so I have seen the very best of our country. People here threw out the old, tired political establishment and demanded accountability for their tax dollars. Industry reports called us the beast of the Southeast, which I loved. People came by the thousands for fresh starts. Moms and dads held their heads up high. Children learned that it was always
It's a great day in South Carolina. It's a great day.
It's a great day.
A great day.
a great day in South Carolina. We were strong. We were proud. And when evil did come,
Police in South Carolina are looking for a gunman following a shooting at a church in
Several
downtown
victims.
Charlotte.
We don't know the severity.
we turned away from fear, toward God, and the values that still make our country the freest and greatest in the world. We must turn in that direction again. Republicans have lost the popular vote in 7 out of the last 8 presidential elections. That has to change. Joe Biden's record is abysmal, but that shouldn't come as a surprise. The Washington establishment has failed us over and over and over again. It's time for a new generation of leadership to rediscover fiscal responsibility, secure our border, and strengthen our country, our pride, and our purpose. Some people look at America and see vulnerability. The socialist left sees an opportunity to rewrite history. China and Russia are on the march. They all think we can be bullied, kicked around. You should know this about me. I don't put up with bullies. And when you kick back, it hurts them more if you're wearing heels. I'm Nikki Haley, and I'm running for president.
Wow. That was pretty good. I mean, it shows who she is, where she came from, what she's done, what she wants to do. What are your thoughts on the video?
I really enjoyed it. I also looked at her merchandise section of her website, and in reference to what Don Lemon said about her, she has stickers saying "In My Prime."
Yeah, and I think she even has a coffee mug as well. It says "In My Prime" as well, which obviously that's pretty funny. So let's go over some strengths and weaknesses as we see it for Governor Haley. Kimberly, do you have any strengths that you see?
Well, first I'd like to mention she also has a degree in accounting.
Okay.
She also has a very diverse background. As an Indian American woman, Haley represents a degree of diversity not often seen within the Republican Party. This could help broaden her appeal to a wider audience. Although I'd like to note that 6 of the 12 Republican candidates are people of color, whereas 100% of the Democrat candidates are white. As an executive experience, her tenure as the governor of South Carolina and U.S. ambassador to the United Nations provides her with both domestic and foreign policy experience. For her economic record, as a governor, she presided over significant economic growth in South Carolina, which could resonate with voters looking for a strong economic steward.
Yeah, I also see her as a unifying figure. Haley has often presented herself as that figure that everybody can rally behind. She received national acclaim for her handling of the aftermath of the Charleston church shooting in 2015, which was absolutely just a tragic event, and her particular decision to remove a Confederate flag from the State House grounds. I also see, she's got bipartisan appeal. During being a Republican, Haley's been able to command respect from some within the Democratic Party, mainly due to her moderate positions on some issues, potentially. helping her appeal to independent voters. What do you see any weaknesses, Kimberly?
So one, she has Trump-era ties. Haley's service under President Trump as UN ambassador could be seen as a liability amongst voters who disapprove of his administration. Her relationship with Trump has been complicated. She has both supported and criticized him publicly, which might confuse or alienate some voters. For her political base, she might face difficulty in galvanizing the Republican base due to her more moderate stance on certain issues. And then, as her immigration policies, her tough stance on immigration while governor could alienate some Hispanic and immigrant voters.
Those are fair points. Another thing, I think she has limited national exposure. A lot of people don't know who she is unless you're a news junkie like myself and really get into the United Nations. She has held, obviously, high-profile positions, but she's not as nationally recognized as some of the other rivals for the nomination. Also, her economic record is super strong. I mean, there's no doubt about that. She did not really significantly, improve a lot of the education policies. Opposing Common Core, she didn't improve the education, and unfortunately, it kind of does rank near the bottom in the United States as far as national education numbers.
So stay tuned, do your research, and remember, your vote counts.
Absolutely, Kimberly. We encourage our listeners to engage with us on social media. Let us know what questions you have for these candidates, what issues matter to you. And we're here to make sense of the race, but we're also here to give you, the listeners, a voice. We want to definitely engage with you in the comments.
And with that, this concludes the final segment of our second Azimuth podcast episode. We are so glad to have you expand the conversation to each and every single one of you, and we hope to build a relationship, learn, and grow together as we seek to ensure our country stays on the right path. We're planning on releasing full episodes on Mondays with the individual segments released throughout the week on all your favorite podcast platforms. Take care.
Yeah, and see you next week.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy our show with all the stories we share, we would love your support.
And it's as easy as clicking that subscribe or follow button. This will ensure you never miss an episode and keeps us bringing you these important stories. Your support makes a huge difference. Thank you so much for being part of our podcast family.
Thanks, and keep tuning in.